Hi YouTube, it's me Round There Gaming here, and today I'm going to show you how to make Chillin from Shumi Come Home as a me character. Okay, so first of all, what you have to do is you go onto menu using the X button, go on to add me characters, and then go on start from scratch. Then go on start from scratch, then go on to gender, which is male. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try and capture Chillin from Shumi Come Home as best as I can, because it is quite tricky to kind of do, but I might have to add a few details to him later on, you know what I mean, as we go along in the video. So at the start he hasn't got any freckles or anything, and he hasn't got any other kind of, you know, related elements as well, so we're going to keep his skin tone as the same. For hair, he hasn't got any hair, so we're going to leave it as bold, and then we can add other bits to him later on. For eyebrows, he hasn't got much as eyebrows lately, but I think we're going to get rid of those. And when it comes to the eyes, I'm going to have to use these kind of eyes, because it's supposed to make it so it looks like who I'm going with. So I need to try and do is space out his eyes a little bit like so, and keeping them as the same colour. But that's who I use for one of my other Shumi Come Home characters, Daisy, at some point, so you might recognise the actual eyes that I've actually used for that. But for the nose, you can't really see it, so I'm kind of thinking what would blend in a little bit. I think this one would, but I need to do is move it up a little bit. So if I go just about there would do. And for the mouth, it's got to be a smile mouth because you can't really see his mouth, so I'm going to go with that. Body type, I think he's quite tall, so we might go with him being that tall because he's quite taller as Shumi, so I'm kind of thinking we might as well go with him being that tall, and he's very slim as well, so we'll go with that. And I think his favourite colour is dark brown, and then what you do after that is you type in his name, which is Chillin, which is his actual name in the game, and there you have it. So there you have it. So let's move on to the next bit, shall we? Okay, so after you've done that, go on to Chillin like so, and then go on to makeup. Okay, so you go on to makeup, and then what you do is you go on to stickers, which is on other. Then what I recommend doing is looking for one that looks like a straight line or something, so it could be like this, looks like a cross or something. Then what I can do is I'm going to rotate it a little bit, slightly. It needs to be facing upwards at all costs, like that. So you're kind of looking for like lines as these markings is what you're kind of looking for. That's what I'm trying to help you out with. So what I need to do is I need to shrink it a little bit so it fits in like so. That's what it looks like according to my image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to add it in again, because sometimes it won't copy it straight away. Sometimes it does that. So do that again. And then what you do, you copy the same one and you just repeat the process over again. So it matches him a little bit. Now I've got to do is keep copying it using the X button. Like so, on your screen. Then you repeat the same process over again, even though I might have to get rid of one of the things so you can get the right angle. Maybe do a bit on. If not, I can also change the colour of it afterwards. Just want to make sure you look just like the characters that I see on screen. So that's what we're trying to do here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to definitely change the colour of it to kind of a, yeah, kind of like a little beigey colour, like a beige brown colour we're going to try and do. So we've got to make sure all of them, except from that one, I'm going to get rid of this one here. And then what we're going to do, we're going to just focus on making them all the same colour. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to repeat the process so you can see what happens afterwards, okay? So hopefully this is what your character look like afterwards once you've repeated the process a few times, and you'll be able to use a different colour in as like so. So that's the basic colour I'll ask you to go for. So now what you need to focus on now is actually making the hat, which is supposed to look like a mushroom shape. So it is going to be quite tricky to make, but I'm going to try my best and see how it comes out as so. But I'm thinking we might want to make it, might want to use like a circle shape like so. And then what we might have to try and do is we might need to try and place it where it would be, but then we've got to make sure it's kind of like a darker, that's kind of close, that's more close, that's good. So what we're going to do, I'm going to make sure I just summon a lot of circles around it, and then also by copying it at the same time, so we can like lay the foundations down on him so it looks just like him on the actual image, so I can get like a good reference of it. So that's what I'm going to do. And then add the last bit, and then there you go. So that's the start of it. If you want to pause the video at some point, I heavily recommend it, okay? So afterwards, what I'm going to do now is kind of repeat the process a little bit so it looks just exactly the same what we're looking at. So we're going to, it's going to repeat it again, and then it just keeps layering at the top, because that's what you've got to try and do. You've got to try and create a layer that looks just like a mushroom kind of shape, like the actual mushroom hat on the top, because some mushrooms have different toadstools as well, so that's what I'm trying to capture. And then what I've got to do again is I've got to try and do the same thing, but then it gets towards the top. So if I keep using the circle button, it might actually give me what I'm looking for. Just keep repeating the process, and then see how it turns out. And there you have it. So we've got a toadstool. So what I'll do, I've got to actually use the same patterns I've done already, but I've got to make them like a light kind of beigey colour, so it fits in with the rest of the hat. So that's what we're going to do next, okay? So if you want to pause the video at some point, just in case, I heavily recommend it. So what I recommend doing, if you want to make sure you get the right kind of part for this, like the actual markings, make sure it looks exactly the same, I recommend doing the same process again by looking for exactly the same one, but then obviously adjusting the opposition and also rotating it a bit. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to rotate it so it lines up at like so, like straight. I'm going to adjust the size so it's not too bad, so it's quite small. Although I could rotate it again just to see. That'll probably fit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the colour into it, so it's kind of like so, and we're going to repeat the same process again. So what I'll do, I'll see how it turns out, because I don't think he's got like any circle shapes like you would have for Shumi Come Home, for example, because he had one, because he was the first characters I made on this channel 2 months ago. So we'll see how this works out. So what I need to do is repeat the same process each time. It's quite handy when you've got this functionality in Miitopia, because it actually helps out a little bit when you're having to use the X button to copy and paste the same layout each time, because it kind of helps out a little bit. And look, there you have it. Okay, so now you know how to make Chillin from Shumi Come Home as a Mii character. Make sure you like on this video. If you're new to my channel and want to see more of my content, please subscribe. There's a variety of content you might enjoy, might involve animal crossing content, Miitopia content, and other content on this channel. So what I'm going to do for next week is that I'm probably going to plan to have a 3-day schedule going on around that area, which means I might have a few YouTube shorts that might come out during that week, because it might be one of those busiest weeks when everything's like there's a lot of things going on. So if I recommend doing some 3 YouTube shorts that week, hopefully you guys will see what those could be. It could be one that I might do a fan art one of. It could be me doing a recreation of a Mii character or something. It could be any of those, so stay tuned for those when it comes to next week, okay? Also turn notifications for Animal Crossing and Miitopia content and other content on this channel, okay? So see you later, guys.